Hi all. I'm going to take as little time as possible to create a very simple database, and then we'll go from there and we'll add data to it, and we'll just see how databases work. So this is Microsoft Access. I've started it, and this is the opening field. Notice we have blank database. There are also a lot of templates down here, which I never use because I always have something different. So I just use blank. Click on blank database, and I double clicked on it, and that opens blank database. It has a name. You want to give it the name. We're going to have an employee database, so I'm going to type employee. I have that. Now I have to tell it what folder to put it in, and I'm going to just check a folder. Let's see, I'll put it somewhere. I think I'll put mine on the desktop for the heck of it for now. That'll make it easy to find, but normally you would create a folder and put it in that folder somewhere, maybe your documents file. Now, I haven't created it yet. It does not exist. So I have an employee database. It has a name and it has a location, desktop. So now I click on the create button, and that opens up Access with this table to put in. First of all, I'm going to get rid of this field list over here just to clear some space. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to X out table 1. And here's a word of advice. Table 1 on my screen, because I've got this set for YouTube videos, so my X to X that out is here. If you have higher resolution, which everybody else does, you have to, your X will be over here on the right side where my cursor or arrow is. But with the low resolution that I need for YouTube, it's over here. So I'm just going to X that out. Wherever your X is, X it out. One word of caution too, don't hit this big red X at the top right. That will close down Access, then you'll have to start again. So, and I've done that before accidentally. That's never any fun. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a table. And generally, for a lot of things in Access, we go to the Create tab when we're going to create something. So notice in the Create tab, we have tables, queries, forms, reports, and then you can do a lot of other interesting things, including Visual Basic for Access. You can create modules, do macros, but we won't get into that today. I'm just going to click on Table Design. So right under the Create tab is Table Design. And this brings up fields. So I'm going to have an employee table. And we didn't design this first. And that's probably, if you haven't done this before, you may not understand a few things. But we're just going to put employee ID, underscore ID, and tab. And this is going to be short text, no. That's the default. We want, this is going to be our primary key. And I want to use auto numbers so that the database Access takes care of the numbering. Every employee has a unique identifier, just like a student ID. Every student has a different ID. No two students have the same ID. Same thing here. And this auto number just keeps it straight for me. I'm going to do this very simply. Last name, leave that short text, first name, FN, short text, and that's all we're going to do. Normally for an employee, you would put in their street, city, state, zip, date of birth, social security number, and a lot of things that pertain to the employee. But we're just going to do this for now. And we're going to let that ride. I'm going to close this down. And I can do a couple of things. Let's do it this way. Employee ID I mentioned is going to be my primary key. So I can set that. I can click here. Notice I'm on the left of the row, and I've got the little arrow pointing right. I left click right there, and that selects the row. And then I've got a primary key, and yours may look a little different, but here you'll have a primary key. And this is, I can click on it, and notice I get a little primary key here. So it's on and off. It's a toggle. Turn it on, you got a primary key. Turn it off, it's not. So now I leave that on because I want that as a primary key. I could save this now, and let's do that. It's called Table 1. Well, this is my employee table, so I'm going to call it what it is. Because tomorrow, if I have table 1, table 2, table 3 through table 20, I won't know what table does what. If I name them with what they are, sort of, I'll figure it all out. Now I have an employee table. I'm going to close this out. This is my design view, by the way. And if I X this out, that will close it. And then here's my design here. If I want to see what's in it, I can hover over it, right click, and click on design view, and we're back to our design view. I X that out again. If I want to see the data in it, I double click on it. And here's where the secret is. Notice employee ID new. If I try to type it won't let me put anything in there. That's because I set that for auto number. So I'm going to go to last name, and we're going to go Rubble and T, and the next one will be Flintstone, R, and the next one is going to be a Rubble again, A. So I've got 3 employees, and I'm going to save those. Actually, when you put in data, it's automatically saved. When you close it out, it saves everything. If I double click on employee again, it opens it up, and there are my 3 employees. So at this point in time, we've created a database. We've put just one table in it. Databases never have just one table. A database is relational, so it relates many tables together. If you just need one table, that's called a spreadsheet. But we're going to start with one table, and then we're going to expand. So I'm going to close this out. And I now want to create a form for this table so that I can add more people to it in maybe an easier manner. So I'm going to go to my Create tab again, and then I'm click on Form Wizard. And Form Wizard is going to recognize that employee is the table to use because 2 reasons. 1, it's the only table I have. And 2, you notice it's pink over here, and therefore it has focus. So when I click on Form Wizard, it's going to bring up my employee table, and I don't want the ID, so I'm going to skip that and go to last name. I click on the single caret. I want first name, click on the single caret. That's all I want. I don't want employee ID. So then I go next, and I'm just going to use the defaults all the way out to finish. And here's my form. Now, for this point in time, navigation is going to be down here on the lower left of the form. We have first record, next record, previous record, next record, last record, and a new record. So as I look at this, I've got T. Rubble, who is my first employee. If I can go to next record, R. Flintstone. If I go to another one, is A. Rubble. If I want to put one more employee in there, I can click on the new record, and here's a blank one. And last name will be Smith. First name T. And now I can close out my form, and look what I see. If I double click on my employee table, T. Smith is there. So that form is intrinsically linked to the table, and the table is linked to the form. And you notice I put T. Smith in, and the database, since it's auto number and a primary key, it added number 4, and it will never add a number 4 again. If I put another employee in here, let's do Smith again. Okay, that's employee 5. Now if I close my table, double click on my form, go to my last one, there's J. Smith, whom we just added. I can go back to number 4, it's T. Smith, all the way back, Rubble, Rubble, Flintstone, Rubble. So now I've got a form, and now I've got a database. And this is number 1, point number 1. This is a good stopping point to just, if you can create that, you've created learn how to create a database, learn how to make one table, and again, databases are not just one table, and then you've learned how to create a form that's associated with that. So with that, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to do part 2 in just a little bit.